All right, we're on the home stretch. So I'm looking really quick for a blending stump. We don't have a blending stump, which I don't know why you would, but you can just take like a piece of paper or a piece of paper towel and wrap it around your finger, and that will work for a blending stump. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. Or if you don't want to get all messy, don't worry about it. But from here, here's where we would go through and we would erase like those little guidelines that we made. So I'm not needing lines coming out of the center of my eyeballs or the inner corners of my eyeballs or outer edge. And I would also say this would be the time to kind of fine tune some of those shapes. So we drew an oval to start, but maybe a person has higher cheekbones. Maybe a person has a more round face. Maybe a person has a pointy chin. So these are things you would go back and you'd fix. If your person's smiling and showing teeth, do teeth and then come back and do like your chin and doing this part. Um, so I'm going to make this line be exactly what I want it to be. Get rid of the lines that I don't need. Okay. So from here, first thing, if you're looking at a picture, that picture is going to make a lot more sense. I'm kind of doing this general, not from a picture, but kind of use your head when you think about this. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't see a line separating your chin from your neck. It's not like this is a piece of paper stuck on this piece of paper. The reason why you see it, you kind of see the edge of your chin, is because your chin is jutting out, the light is hitting your chin, and the light's not getting to your neck. So that's where your shadow is. So in order to make this chin project, we're going to make contrast by adding a shadow underneath here. And that also helps us get rid of this outline, which is something we don't want to see. So I'm just using my pencil and I'm kind of going back and forth. I know that my neck is a cylinder. But I want that edge of my chin to show first. It looks like I have a beard, I know. It's because it's the only thing that's shaded on here. But then I also want this to look like a cylinder, which means I'm going to have a little bit more of a dark edge on this side. I'm going to have a little bit of a dark edge where my shirt overlaps my neck. And then there would also be a dark edge here because this is where the hair is overlapping. Even a little bit darker because I don't want it to blend into my hair. If you have an Adam's apple, you would kind of do that little bit of shading underneath there. Or if you're, this part on your neck, like where your vocal cords is, you could add a little bit more shading there. So this is where I'm going to go into my blending stump. And kind of smooth it out because I basically don't want my person to look hairy. But if I don't have a blending stump, I can go through and use my finger. Just be careful because you're going to get all this stuff on your finger, and if it's on your finger, it's just going to get in other places. If you feel like it's too dark, don't worry about it right now. Just kind of leave it, and you could always go back and lighten it up later. Okay, so just leave it for now. It just looks dark because it's the only part that's shaded. Okay, so moving forward, your nose is something that comes off of your face. So no matter who you are, you're automatically going to have a little bit of a shade in your nostrils. And you're going to have a little bit of a shade underneath the nose. Sometimes we have like that little kind of divot space in here that you can shade in. Okay. And then you're also going to kind of have shading going around like that ball part of your nose and then up in between your eyes. I kind of think of it almost like if there was like a triangle right here. I'm kind of shading up one side of it, and then I want to go a little bit lighter on the other side. Okay, now I know eventually I'm going to do a little bit of shading underneath the eyes too. The other part we have a little bit of shading around is the edge of the nostrils. It's kind of like the neck, like we're seeing like the chin because of the shadow here, but we're seeing the edges of the nostrils because they're sticking out from the face. So we have that shading on the sides. So some shading here. Remember, we can always go back and make things darker if we need to. I feel like I need to lighten up a little bit of highlight right here. So I'm just using my eraser to draw something then. And that's going to be my nose. Okay, so see how it looks like it's coming at us? And now this doesn't seem so dark because we have a little bit of shading on the face. Okay, from there, lips. Lips, if you look at your lips, there's lots and lots of little lines, but where your lips meet is usually darker. So I'm having that directional line, kind of like how I did my hair. Looks like my person's lips are sewed shut, kind of going up and down. So this is one of those things where you don't want to shade that edge because unless you're wearing lipstick or something like that. But I want that edge to show. I'm just going to kind of lighten it up a lot. And let it show on my face because there's contrast. There would be a little bit of a shadow underneath here because your lip projects. And that also kind of helps create like where your chin is. I'm not really feeling that side of my lip. I think a little highlight at the top of the lips and a little highlight on the bottom lip help make things show too. I'm going to make this shadow a little bit darker. Okay. It's looking weird. Lighten that up to blend this in a little bit more. See, it takes a while. All right. So from here, I'm going to go up to my eyes. And remember, we just drew things kind of generic. So now we can go back in and fine tune that a little bit. Remember, our eyes are coming out of our eye sockets. So there might be a little bit of shading in here. I want to make my eyebrow a little bit darker where it's peeking out from behind my hair so that it shows up against my hair. I'm going to make my shading a little bit darker where that crease of my eyelid is, where my eyelid opens and closes. That's why I didn't say get too far into your eyelashes because you usually end up blending them out. If your eyes are lighter or darker, no matter what color they are, this iris part here is darker than this light white part here. So if they're light blue, you're just going to be shading things lightly. Anything else, you kind of want your eye to be a little bit darker so you're seeing that contrast. You can like let some of these lines, if you look close at your eyeball, you can see lines going in, and then I want my pupil to be darker. So my person doesn't look dead. I can add that little highlight where light reflects in it. That light usually reflects a little bit in my iris too. Your eyelid is overlapping your eyeball itself, so there's going to be a little bit of a shadow in here, right? And then there'd also be a little bit of a shadow underneath here. Really faint. When you get old and you have bags like me, these get bigger. So from here, put your eyelashes back in. Gentlemen, you have eyelashes. And then eyelashes on the bottom are really, really sparse. Okay, we got an eye. Now I got to go do the other one. Some other things to think about is if your hair is overlapping your face, you're going to have areas on your face where your hair is kind of casting a shadow onto your face. Okay. Shading. I'm excited to see what you guys make. I know that was a long video and took a long time, but hopefully you got something from it, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys have all made.